Hello everybody, and thank you so much for joining me here today. My name is Oren, and we're going to continue our testing of decks that did well over this past GP weekend. As you know, I love the color blue, so today we're testing a deck I like to call Esper Glory. And for those of you that keep up with Magic religiously, you might have seen Caleb Durward stream the deck to moderate success, and I even actually got to play against him while he was streaming, and I unfortunately lost, but he played well. So this deck was actually piloted by Akio Chiba in GP Kobe to an impressive top 8 finish, in a meta full of Death Shadow and Eldrazi and, Counter Company, I'm sure. So surprising, this deck seems to have come out of nowhere. It seems to be relatively a brew, and it was classified as a control deck over the weekend, but I am hesitant to call it a control deck because while it does have control elements, it just plays like a regular old mid-range deck, I would say, that takes advantage of some really powerful black and white cards with blue as kind of the supporting color. So with that said, let's get into the deck and talk what it's all about. Alright, so obviously if you saw the deck list, you were really surprised. Most of these cards, have seen some modern play over the past few years, but the one card that has never seen play, and it's a new card, so it's really breaking the scene, is Glory-Bound Initiate. And this is why I like to call the deck Esper Glory, because it really comes together due to this really powerful 2-drop. Now, for 2-drops, they have to be really strong, on the level of Tarmogoyf, Young Pyromancer, Snapcaster Mage, these cards that, Dark Confidant, that have a major impact on the board or provide a good enough advantage to warrant playing, because they can easily be removed. There's Lightning Bolt, Fatal Push all over the format. So what does this card do that makes it that good? Well, its ability to gain 4 life while dealing 4 damage repeatedly, and even though it's every other turn, lets you take advantage of a card called Painful Truth. It's also relatively new in the past few blocks. The main deal with Painful Truth is that in a 3-color deck, you're probably already taking damage from your mana base as it is, so playing a card like this is very dangerous. However, if you're gaining life by just playing good cards, while gaining life is actually good in the format, against aggro decks like Burn or Zoo, you get to take advantage of a very, very powerful card advantage engine in the form of Painful Truths. And the way you play the deck, really, is you have Cheap Interaction, Thoughtseize, Fatal Push, Spell Snare, Path to Exile, Mana Leak. You have all these cheap interactive spells, and I'll get into Collective Brutality soon, but that way you can sort of either keep the board clear or disrupt your opponent and then refill. Hopefully with the help of a Glory-Bound Initiate to keep your life total high while pressuring your opponent against combo decks, control decks, anything of that nature. It fills a very powerful role that even if removed, you should still be able to refill down the road. So it's a very powerful card. Now we have 3 Collective Brutality in the deck. That might seem like a lot, but the deck's major disadvantage is probably against fast aggro and combo. So having this 3 of that can also combo with Lingering Souls, or you can pitch extra cards from Painful Truths, it just generates even more card advantage and lets you really turn maybe dead cards into useful things. So it kind of, because the main issue of control decks sometimes is that they have the wrong cards at the wrong time, but having this extremely versatile spell with 3 different modes that are almost relevant in every matchup, and worst case scenario can just act as kind of like a burn spell. So having a card like this is really what makes black so appealing. Now we have 4 Snapcaster Mages, which kind of act as the extra copies of Path to Exile, extra copy of Fatal Push, extra copies of Thoughtseize, because we're playing odd numbers, 2 Thoughtseize, 2 Fatal Push, 3 Path to Exile. But this is because if we see 1, we'll usually be able to cast the second with our Snapcaster Mage. And we also dig through our deck pretty quickly, so we get to see more cards, and we don't have to play full play sets. We only play the full playsets of the most important cards, which are going to be Serum Visions to smooth our draw, Glory-Bound Initiate and Snapcaster Mage as our premium, 2-mana spells, and then we have Painful Truths to refill down the road. We also have Lingering Souls, because Lingering Souls is just such a powerful card. Cryptic Command, also a very powerful blue card, very versatile. It's going to be good in any matchup. Batterskull is basically the finisher of the deck, because once you've grinded out your opponent enough, you just slam a Batterskull. They probably don't have any removal left, especially if they spent it on your Glory Bounds. And you can just take over the game with Batterskull. Gain some more life, draw some more cards, kill some more things, disrupt your opponent, counter some spells. And what's great, and I actually pulled this off while testing the deck, is you equip Batterskull to Glory Bound Initiate, and you've got a 8/8 lifelinker attacking every turn. And I was actually able to stabilize this way while playing against Soul Sisters the other day. So I just, removed their stuff, killed their things, and just ended up riding the game off of Glory Bound Initiate. So once you've grinded it out, there's a lot of ways to actually close out the game, which is important for a control deck. And then we have this 1-up Tasigur. Pretty nice card, just cheap, efficient threat, can generate card advantage, and hopefully if your opponent spends their removal spells on Glory Bound Initiate, you can kind of land these bombs, to close the game out. Mana base it's a pretty cool mana base, I'm not going to lie. I didn't design it, of course. This whole main deck was just ripped straight from the top 8 list. But we have 3 Shambling Vents, also help in the life gain, endeavor. We have a Celestial Colonnade as well. And then we have a playset of Darkslick Shores, which is really, really strong in being able to cast our blue or black 1-mana spells without taking any damage. We have about, I think, 6 fetches. A Seachrome Coast also helps you cast your spells without taking any damage. Just keep your life total high so that Painful Truths, so you can actually have time to cast these spells you draw from Painful Truths. So that's going to be the main deck for you. Really cool deck. I'm excited to try it out. Oh, I didn't talk about Devour Flesh, but Devour Flesh is basically tech against Death Shadow. It's still a big deck, still a powerful deck, and being able to not only kill their creature but make them gain life is very powerful to stop future Death Shadows or Death Shadows that are currently on the board. And it also, it's a little bit worse against Grixis Shadow because they have Gurmag Anglers and things of that nature that they can either sack their Death Shadows or and then still have powerful threats that they can land, or they can just Stubborn Denial it, and that is a problem. But hopefully you'll be able to interact in other ways against Death Shadow. I played against Death Shadow. It's a relatively decent matchup. We have a lot of removal, a lot of disruption. But that's that's the main deck for you. It's really cool. I'm excited to show it to you guys, try it out. Now, I'm no expert with a list, so we're testing this together, and we're just trying to get exposure for it. And so now let's talk about the sideboard. As you'll see, there was no Spreading Seas in this build. The build mainly, not necessarily ignored Tron Game 1, because it has ways to beat it. It has Thoughtseize, it has Pressure, it has a few counters. But generally, the Tron matchup won't be that great Game 1. The Eldrazi Tron matchup is a little better, but, regular Tron, not great. So what do we do for that Game 2? Well, we bring in, of course, 2 Counter Squall. This can handle Tron, Combo, Control. I will note that this sideboard is a little different than the one that was played in the GP. I did edit it a bit because I felt that it had some weaknesses that I wanted to improve on. So with that said, we'll talk about the sideboard that I decided to construct. Most of it was kept the same, but I upped some numbers, changed a few cards here and there, and I'll link the original list in the comments below. Okay, so let's talk about the sideboard. It's 2 Counter Squall, basically counter opposing combo decks while dealing 2 damage to your opponent, or control decks, or Tron, or anything of that nature. Non-creature spell is a very versatile counter. We have 3 Ceremonious Rejection. This is going to be our way to deal with Eldrazi, to deal with Tron. It hits Affinity, it hits Lantern Control. It's a pretty solid counter spell, especially because we're pretty well positioned against most other decks. Vendilion Click, just another piece of disruption, helps in the control matchups, combo, anything of that nature. Another Devour Flesh as a sideboard tech against Death Shadow. Just make him gain life when you can. Just it's a solid removal spell, also against Eldrazi as well, to avoid Reality Smasher's trigger, when you target it. And then we have Stony Silence, more hate for Affinity, Tron, Lantern, Eggs. Those kind of decks that are really hard to interact with, but can be pretty easy to hate. So I think it's a pretty solid card to bring in. We have Disenchant because dealing with enchantments is very difficult for this deck, so once they've resolved, there's not much you can do. But Disenchant really helps deal with some pesky permanents down the road. And then a Celestial Purge also just exiles target black-red permanent, deals with Liliana the Veil, deals with Death Shadow, deals with Blood Moon, a whole array of things. So I like to have one Celestial Purge on the board for a deck like this, especially because it's very difficult to answer Planeswalkers once they've landed, and Liliana is one of, I would say, probably the most popular Planeswalker in the game right now. So yeah, that's going to be the deck for you. I'm really excited to show it to you guys, try it out. Like I said, I'll be learning the ropes with the deck as we go along. I think it's going to be relatively straightforward to play. I don't think it's as complicated as most blue decks, and especially with discard, you can really steal games every now and again, but I imagine we're not going to just see easy games here, and I'm definitely excited to try it out. So thanks so much for watching, guys, and stay tuned for the first round. See you soon. Hey everybody, I just wanted to apologize in advance. This is the post-edit, but I did forget to adjust the screen size for match 1. So it might be a little bit small, but don't worry, I fixed that for matches 2 through 5. Yeah, so like I said, I apologize in advance, but hope you enjoy it. Hey guys, thank you so much for joining me here. This is the first round in this Modern Competitive League with Esper Glory. Let's just go ahead and exit this out, make room for the screen. Yes, we would like to play first. We want the die roll. Let's take a look at our opener here. This is a pretty solid opener. We have turn 1 or turn 2 Spell Snare or Mana Leak. We have Collective Brutality. We have Painful Truce to refill. We just need to draw some more lands, but this is a solid keep. So a hand like this is very reminiscent of like Esper Control, basically. Because basically we're just going to be trying to control the game. Let's see what our opponent does here. Sure. If this is like a turn 1 Noble Hierarch, it's going to be an interesting position, because we could just Collective Brutality it on the spot. Ooh, Hexproof. Ooh, this might be a tough matchup. Alright, so we have an interesting decision point here. We can go Thoughtseize and try to take their hand, or we can just keep up, take something from their hand, or we can just keep up Mana Leak or Spell Snare. Both are interesting. The thing is, if we want to keep up Spell Snare, we'd probably want to go Thoughtseize as well. This would have been a nice turn 1, maybe to just take their threat. I think we'll just keep up, because we could also get pretty lucky and just maybe snap block. So we'll try that, and we could always draw our Devour Flesh, which is not bad. And we can always Thoughtseize down the road. Totem Armor. Yeah, I think I'll go ahead and counter that with Mana Leak. Let's go ahead and get a Water Grave. We'll shock it. And it's very possible our opponent has another land here as well. That's fine. But at least they're not casting a 2-mana spell. Alright, so we're just getting hit for 1 here. Not the end of the world. Alright. Lingering Souls might be good down the road. Now, because we don't have Mana Leak up, I'd rather Thoughtseize and see what our opponent is working with, and keep up Spell Snare. Oh my gosh. It's a lot of good stuff. I'm actually not sure what I'm supposed to take. That's a lot of Totem Armors. Rancor does the most damage, but Ethereal Armor can also get out of control pretty quickly and gives them first strike. I think Rancor giving them trample means that we can't at least prolong the game with Lingering Souls. And yeah, so trample will be pretty relevant. So I think we just take we'll just go ahead and take the Rancor there. And not hitting our third land there was rough, but maybe next turn we can... Okay, there's a land, which means they can deploy their spells a lot faster now and deal us a lot of damage. But we're gonna go ahead and try to at least draw the game out a bit to draw our outs. Yep, so we're going to get smacked here for 4. Path to Exile doesn't do much here. We know their hand, and we know that they're gonna get pretty big. So I think we just have to go Snapcaster block here to try to draw another land. Because if we go Collective Brutality, they just go Aura, and kill us. And that's a Rancor. Oof. Yep. Now I think we're dead, right? Another Ethereal Armor gets us. Yep, and yep. You got it. All right. So definitely bringing this Devour Flesh, Disenchant as well. Collective Brutality seems pretty weak here. Aside from killing Core Spirit Dancer. V-Click seems pretty strong. Counter Squalls maybe. Let's see if we have something else to take out. Glory Bounds are great blockers. Snapcaster Mages are pretty solid too. I think we want to keep Painful Truth as a way to dig for the cards that we actually need. Spell Snare is very good here. We might be able to take out Fatal Push, but we also don't want to cut all our answers to Core Spirit Dancer. So it's possible that we just... I think Counter Squall is worth it, though. That's the thing. And Cryptic Command can help once we actually reach the late game. So maybe we cut 1 push, 1 path. I think that's an okay way to deal with our opponent. Now, of course, if they have a creature heavy... Actually, maybe we keep 1 push in, cut 1 truths. Because we want to preserve our life total. And we still want to be able to answer Core Spirit Dancer relatively easily. So yeah, I think that's going to be good enough here. Yes, we'd like to play first. Wow, alright, this is a great hand. We can go ahead and Thoughtseize away a threat, and then we'll eventually have Snap Devour Flesh. I don't think I could ask for a much better hand. And unless they have something like Leyline of Sanctity, yeah, alright, so no Leyline. Let's just go ahead and do what our deck does best here, and Disrupt. I don't think I could have asked for a much better hand. Wow, that is a horrible keep. Oh my gosh. Yeah, we'll take the Rest in Peace. We're not too afraid of Rancor by itself. What is that hand? What was our opponent thinking? They didn't mulligan. They didn't scry creature to the top. That's... Yep. All right. It'd be nice to draw a threat, because this is where we could take advantage of our opponent. Just go ahead and play a Flooded Strand and pass. Let's go ahead and get this Temple Garden out of here. It's not a known card anymore. Let me get that out of the way for you guys. I think we're very well positioned here. Unless they end up hard casting a Leyline. Oh wait, yeah, let's turn off auto yield. We're probably gonna fetch. Dryad Arbor. Yeah, good thing we turned off that auto yield there. Let's just go ahead and get an island here. And we'll Devour Flesh our opponent. And there goes Rancor, so we 2-for-1 them. They used up their Windswept Teeth, so 3 cards. Okay, so now next turn we can go Snap Devour Flesh if we need to. But now we can actually start setting up a clock. And that's what we need. We need to close out this game as fast as possible, take advantage of our opponent keeping a very poor hand. Graphic, ooh, that's actually pretty good here, especially if we don't. So this is can't cast spells. That's a pretty timely draw. Not gonna lie. And if they have a spell here, so that's Wooded Foothills down. Oh no, so they're just. All right, so there goes. All right. This might be the time for Snapcaster Ambush Viper, unless we're thinking about like drawing Cryptic Command to bounce that down the road. But we'll see how the game plays out. If they play anything we're worried about. Here's the Thicket. I don't think I play it out yet. Lingering Souls is not bad actually. Just go ahead and attack. We'll play out another Lingering Souls. Unfortunately, it would be nice if we could close out the game faster. That Grafdigger's Cage is actually stopping us, but it doesn't look like our opponent has any creatures. Oh, did I forget to play a land last turn? I think I did. Let's just go ahead and fetch here. Get a Water Grave so we can have Cryptic Mana. Go ahead and attack. Like I said, applying pressure is what's really important here. And let's see if we... Alright, so their opponent just concedes. Okay. So, is there anything else we want to do any differently? I don't think so. I think we're... That was a lot of hate, though. That was a lot of hate from our opponent's side. And I don't think there's much we can do about it, except just play out our game plan as we would. And the thing is, if they have hate, that means they don't have actual spells that they can cast that affect that can pressure us. So the more time we're given, the better. So let's just run it back. That was a great hand against a very lackluster draw from our opponent, though. So Bogles is definitely a tough matchup here. And this hand is pretty bad. I mean, we have... It's just slow, you know? We don't have our turn 1 interaction. We have a Glory-bound Initiate, but that's not going to do too much, I think. So do we mulligan this to look for some of our key cards? I think so. And now I think we have to... just stick with this. I don't want to go to 5. There's a Slippery Bogle. Or a Gladecover Scout, excuse me. Just go ahead and play that tap. Preserve our life. We can maybe play Glory-bound Initiate next turn if they don't play a Core Spirit Dancer. No Sweepers or Engineer. See, I believe the list did play Engineered Explosives, which is pretty good. Yep, that's an Ethereal Armor, which will kind of shut down what we're trying to do here with Glory-bound. But we have, like, it's only 2 damage right now. They have 1 land again, so we'll see if we can buy some time. Click is okay. It might put us in a position to race with Glory-bound and Click. We'll see what our opponent can play here. Hopefully not a land plus the Daybreak Coronet, because that will increase their damage by a lot and make it near impossible to race. Yep. So now we're getting smacked for 4 here. And we're definitely not blocking. Yep, no blocks. Disenchant. Ooh, that's not bad. The question is, I think we want to click, though. I think we want to exert, gain our 4 life, deal 4 life, and then click on draw step. And that way we can apply some pressure, and then disenchant can be used down the road for whatever we need to. Yeah. Ooh. Almost forgot to attack there. There's an argument maybe not to exert, but I think gaining life is important in this matchup. Because if our opponent draws a land here, and we see Daybreak Coronet, we want to take it, even though we have the disenchant. Let's go ahead and click our opponent. Alright, so they drew the land. Any lifelink here? No lifelink. Spirit Mantle. Do we take the Spirit Mantle? I think we do, right? Yeah, let's go ahead and, I know one of you guys commented, told me how to do the quick key for this, but, see, Spirit Mantle, how fast does that increase their clock? I think it increases their clock by a fair amount. If they play a creature this turn, I think, because we have Path, or if they play like Spirit Dancer, I think we're okay with that, right? Let's go ahead and take the Spirit Mantle. Say go. Hopefully that they didn't draw the Daybreak Coronet now. Let's take this stop off of here. Alright, so they have the Windswept Teeth, sure. I imagine they're going to be playing either Core Spirit Dancer or Double Bogle. But if it's just plains, then either they drew another Aura. Oh god, I hope they didn't draw the Daybreak Coronet. That's, oh no, Spirit Dancer, jeez. Ooh, mini heart attack there. Alternatively, we could have trapped them in combat. Oh no, we couldn't, because they both give first strike, right? Yeah, both of them give first strike. So I think racing is, oh my gosh, I didn't get double white, did I? Oh man. That might come hurt us. That might hurt us down the road, especially if they drew an Aura. But I think we have to race here. I don't think we have a choice. And I think on upkeep we'll go ahead and path the Spirit Dancer. Right? If we're pathing the Spirit Dancer, that means we'll have Counter Squall up. Yeah. And I just don't want to give him an extra land, you know, to send a flurry of spells, basically. And we can't interact with their Bogles anyways, and if they have an Aura, then we can counter it this turn. And then we can disenchant something next turn. But right now, we just have to race our opponent. That is going to be the only way to win this matchup here. At this point, I don't care about Grafdigger's Cage, especially with Disenchant, so if we draw the Snapcaster Mage, yeah, I don't care about that. I'm only going to counter actual auras. Alright, that's a Bogle. And, I think, so there goes a Bogle. There goes a Cage. They drew, they used their Windswept Teeth, and I think they're about, oh, they used the Core Spirit Dancer. And then they drew a Foothills. So they're going to play the Core Spirit Dancer, or the Bladecover Scout, right? Sure. Let's see. I imagine they're not holding back this Gladecover Scout because that's their way to win this game. Thoughtseize. Thoughtseize would take us down to 9, but we'd gain 4 from attacking. So we go up to 11, and our opponent goes to 6. I think we have to exert, and if they block, that's pretty good. I think they have to block here, actually. So let's go ahead and attack first before we make any decisions, because they might want to do something here. Yep. Go up to 13. We'll go ahead and play this. We'll see. I mean, if they have a land, they have a land. Yeah, that's fine. Because they're going to play any spell they draw anyways from this point on. Let's see what they draw here. Yeah, I'll go ahead and I'll counter squall that. Yep. That's fine with me. And then we can also disenchant the perfect hand. I had a perfect hand? That's, oh, I forgot this was game 3. Yep. So I think we actually hold the disenchant. We take 5 here. Or, sorry. Yeah, we take 5. And we just want to make sure we're insulated against Daybreak Coronet, which is the only way we lose this game from this point on, I believe. Alright, what do you got for me here? Dromoka's Command. Or, I was thinking, like, Dromoka's Command, that's what gets us. Right, but once that equips, we can just disenchant the ethereal armor, and then we only take I mean, just for good practice, I want them to attack first before I make any decisions. Make sure I click the right card here. Destroy ethereal armor. And we got there. Did you guys see that? Glory-bound Initiate. Gained 8 life over the course of the game and dealt 8 damage, which is pretty nuts. Maybe did it gain 12 life? I don't know, guys. Alright, so thanks for watching. We beat Bogles, a rough first round, but we got there. So stay tuned for the next round. See you soon.